This topic is web typography, selecting fonts. Picking a font for your website isn't as simple as just picking a font from your font list on your computer. There are only a limited number of fonts that you can use on the web because only fonts that the user has installed on their computer will display. And default fonts on computers vary depending on the operating system type and version, plus what applications they have. The only fonts considered 100% safe are Times New Roman, Arial, Georgia, Trebuchet MS, Impact, Endel Mono, Veranda, Courier New, and Comic Sans. These fonts are considered safe because they come on standard installations of most operating systems. To set a font using CSS, you use the property Font Family. Here is an example of how you would set the font using CSS. Instead of just listing one font, list multiple as backups, because if the user doesn't have the font you specified installed on their computer, the font displayed will be the browser default font, which is typically Times New Roman. When listing multiple fonts, list the fonts in order of priority. The first font you list would be the one that you want displayed the most, and the last font you list would be your last choice, if the user doesn't have the fonts that you previously listed. Just to be safe, you should always end with the generic font family value, such as sans serif or serif. Generic font values then use the computer's default font for that font family. For example, the default for sans serif on a Mac is Helvetica. The generic font family options are cursive, fantasy, monospace, sans serif, and serif. The wording of the font must be exact to match the user's font library. If a font has more than one word in its name, then it must be listed in single or double quotes. Each font is separated by a comma and may include a space after each comma if you prefer.